No! Why did you do that? He told you what you wanted.
The brilliance of this show
I ain't telling you
is, what if love is bad?
It's okay.
No.
I believe him.
No.
What if this beautiful love that we are so rooting for between these two broken, damaged people who desperately need each other
So time heals all wounds, I guess.
It wasn't time that did it.
is the thing that causes the world to end?
You just come after her.
Tommy, help me! Joe.
When we assume the role of protector or defender of the people that we love, we also assume responsibility if it goes south, even if it's not our fault.
It's all I do. It's all I've ever done. It's failure.
This feeds into the avoidance. We only get hardened and closed off when we feel like receiving love isn't a possibility, so now we're just in protection mode.
You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad.
And in the case of avoidant attachment, the real hard sell is believing in it when you have it.
It's okay, baby girl.
And so The Last of Us speaks to our need for connection.
I got you.
And now I'm gonna get emotional thinking about this. Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. That guy.
Is Alan Seawright a professional filmmaker who needs so much therapy? Jonathan,
Especially now. Oh my gosh.
I'm broken and real sad
Yeah.
and a little angry,
Okay.
and I'm feeling a lot of feelings.
Okay. So basically you're a toddler. That's great. The Last of Us turned us all into weeping babies.
It really, really did.
Then love me the way I want you to.
So I'd heard for years that the game was phenomenal.
It is.
And lends itself really well to this miniseries, which is mind-blowingly good.
It's so good.
And tonally, I love stories that are very dark, distressing, disturbing, and scary, and then have light and humanity in them.
Yes.
Because to me, that feels like the world we live in. And so The Last of Us speaks to our need for connection. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
We're going to talk about insecure avoidant attachment, because wouldn't you know it, both of our protagonists have the same insecure attachment style.
You don't say. Both Joel and Ellie insecure avoidant? Weird. I wonder what could cause that for them.
Death.
So, you two,
Pass.
how'd you end up in Boston?
Pass. No more questions about me.
This is the way.
How long do infected live?
Oh, I thought you went to school.
It's a really
Well, some last about a month or two. But there's others been walking around about 20 years.
So this is a thing they can connect on. They can talk about zombies. They can't talk about
Ever kill
feelings.
one?
Yeah, I killed lots of them.
Was it hard? Like knowing they were people once?
Sometimes.
What about that guy last night?
That you killed to save me.
Not infected.
So we've got a man who was once a very loving, devoted father.
Yes.
And we get an extended prologue. It's a half an hour before we get to the main story, where we really see his trauma of losing his daughter, who is wonderful and you love her so much, and they did it on purpose to hurt him and to hurt us. You fall in love with this little girl and you want her to be safe, and she is not safe.
He is not.
That loss has hardened him so, and then of course the end of the world will do that to a person as well.
Yeah.
That he feels like, why get attached? Why get attached? Because you're just going to hurt, because you're going to lose someone again. Now, in real life, this looks like, why get attached? Because I'm going to lose somebody, but also why get attached? Because people are going to hurt me, or people are going to abuse me, or people are going to neglect me, or they're going to leave, or they're going to pull away, or they're going to let me down. And you talk about attachment theory. This is developed by John Bowlby, and the idea is that people with secure attachments thrive, they're resilient, they're emotionally stable, and they're able to go after their dreams knowing that they are loved and supported. That's the short version. And people who don't have that develop insecure, anxious, or insecure avoidant attachment. And then there were some others that have been added since then. But at the time with Bowlby, anxious is, My caregivers are inconsistent. Sometimes they're really loving, sometimes they're harsh and cruel. And so I find myself engaging in a lot of people pleasing because I want to get it right. I want to elicit the response of being loved.
Yes.
In the case of insecure avoidant, I have had to fend for myself. There is no one to love me. There is no one to take care of me. And so I'm going to keep people at a distance. I don't open up emotionally. I'm very closed off. And I don't form connections because connections lead to pain.
If you're feeling lost,
Tell me to look for the light and I'll break your jaw.
Yeah, the world and everyone in it is a cold, hard place.
Right.
We talk about that a lot in our Elsa episode from Frozen. It is
little on the
literally
nose.
a cold, hard place. But we talk about this exact same thing.
Yeah. So for Joel, he's known the joy of connection with his daughter, with his brother, now with Tess. And Ellie's always had everything she needed because she went to essentially the Empire Academy. Right?
Right.
She went to school and she was fed, but we do see she had one person who really cared for her.
Yep.
And again, she lost that person.
Yep.
So we've got two people who are very broken and they're just trying to get through our time together. We have to be together for now. Neither of us really wants this, and that's where they're at.
This month has been so insanely busy at our house. End of the school year activities for our kids, a cinema therapy shoot in my basement right over there. That's why we've been using Hungry Root.
Hungry Root makes grocery shopping so simple and so stress-free.
So all I have to do is put in my health goals and food preferences, and they fill up my shopping cart with personalized recommendations like tamales, one of my personal favorites, and cookie dough, my actual personal favorite. You can tell.
And the recommendations get smarter as they learn more about your likes and preferences. I did it.
It is so much easier to eat high quality healthy food when I don't have time to shop and meal plan.
And it's way easier than scavenging for 20-year-old cans of Chef Boyardee.
Tastier too.
I'm single. And I love that they have snacks that my kids will love and they're healthy. No high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, or preservatives.
So in our box this week, we got a variety of meals, including brown rice and quinoa. It goes in an avocado fajita chicken rice bowl.
Some stuff you can just heat and eat, like this tamale you talked about, or the chicken tikka marsala.
Tikka masala.
Is that? I'm a therapist, not a food expert, okay?
For a limited time, you can get 40% off your first box from Hungry Root and a free item in every box for life.
Whoa. So go to hungryroot.com and use code CinemaTherapy.
That's 40% off your first box.
And a free item choice for life.
So, choose wisely because you're gonna be eating a lot of that shit.
No, you're not stuck with one item. You can get a free item every order, but you can change it whenever you want.
But all I need is cookie dough. At hungryroot.com, use code CinemaTherapy. In this scene, in fact, we have just learned that Tess, she got bit.
She got infected and died to save them.
Yes.
Look, I've been thinking
I
about...
don't want your sorries.
I wasn't gonna say I'm sorry. I was gonna say that I've been thinking about what happened. Nobody made you or Tess take me. Nobody made you go along with this plan. You needed a truck battery or whatever, and you made a choice. So don't blame me for something that isn't my fault.
So here's the thing about avoidant attached persons, because someone with a secure attachment or even someone with an anxious attachment would be more prone to offer empathy.
Yeah.
And to say, I'm really sorry for your loss and I know you're going through a lot. What can I do for you? Someone with an avoidant attachment is going to be more prone to say, don't blame me.
True.
Because a person with avoidant attachment is used to standing up for and protecting themselves.
Right.
And she knows he's hurting, she knows he's mad, and she knows, well, this whole quest is the reason Tess died. But the fact is, nobody made you do it, I didn't make you do it, so don't punish me for this. And Joel also has an avoidant attachment response. Because instead of opening up or getting vulnerable or saying, you're right, I'm sorry, he just sees a fellow struggler, a fellow solo artist, and he goes, okay, fine.
I would actually push back on that. The long pause and then the very understated little nod it clues in for me that there's more here than meets the eye.
Yeah.
He thinks he's transporting a scared little girl, and he sees, oh, she's like me.
Yeah, I think this is the moment. You're right. He sees that she is like him.
Yeah, she's tough. She'll get through this. This is his first hint of that, right?
Yeah.
We get a lot more of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so we've got an episode on Bill and Frank, the couple from the show, beautiful love story. But that's going to be its own standalone episode coming. But this is after Joel and Ellie go to Bill and Frank's house.
Right.
And their story is ended, and Ellie finds the letter.
So I'm gonna tell you something because you're probably the only person who'll understand. I used to hate the world, and I was happy when everyone died. But I was wrong, because there was one person worth saving. That's what I did. I saved him. Then I protected him. That's why men like you and me are here. We have a job to do. And God help any motherfuckers who stand in our way. I leave you all of my weapons.
Man, playing so much of this just on this super
Use them to
close-up
keep.
of Pedro Pascal. And then, whoops. He wrote about Tess because he
Keep
didn't
Tess safe. Make sure to keep Tess safe. So, obviously, it's a trauma trigger, and it's very recent.
Yeah, I mean, literally 1 or 2 days ago at this point.
Well, and the real struggle for Joel, and it's twofold. One, and he lost his daughter and he lost Tess, but in both instances he blames himself for the very reasons listed in the letter. I'm a protector. That's what I'm here to do. I failed to protect my daughter and I failed to protect Tess. And so there's not only grief, there's guilt.
Yeah. Misplaced,
It is misplaced.
but it's still real.
Well, and that's the thing is when we assume the role of protector or defender of the people that we love, we also assume responsibility if it goes south, even if it's not our fault.
Right.
This feeds into the avoidance. I hurt the people who get close to me, or rather, I let them get hurt.
I'm not capable of doing everything to protect them, man.
And we see this later in the season when Joel has a breakdown and asks his brother to take Ellie.
He can't do it anymore.
I've lost something. I'm failing in my sleep. It's all I do. It's all I've ever done. It's fail. Again and again.
The thing about avoidant attachment, see, with anxious attachment, clearly you have a person who wants to attach, they want to connect, they want love, and they're trying to figure out how to get it. With avoidant attachment, there is the appearance of, I don't give a damn. I don't need anybody. I don't want anybody. I was glad when everyone in the world died.
Right.
And we'll talk about this in the Bill and Frank episode, but Bill, like Joel, and like Ellie, wants love. We all do. We're social creatures. That's how we're wired. We want connection. We want safety. We only get hardened and closed off when we feel like receiving love isn't a possibility, so now we're just in protection mode. But the fact is, we all want to feel safe, respected, and loved. And in the case of avoidant attachment, the real hard sell is believing in it when you have it.
We'll get through this.
I know.
Because this entire journey, Joel and Ellie have the potential for a found, created father-daughter dynamic.
I mean, from the moment they meet,
Yeah.
there are obvious signs that both of them should be able to pick up on.
Yeah.
That, hey, this could be a great relationship for the two of us. We clearly connect on some level.
Well, and maybe they do pick up on them, but they're too scared to acknowledge it.
Yes.
You know, too scared to embrace it. They don't trust their own instincts because they've been burned before, been hurt before. It takes years to build up this level of trauma. It's going to take some time to undo
It's going to
it.
take time to undo it.
So the answer for this, I mean, in a therapy office, but also just in life, is you have to offer unconditional love and acceptance. And unconditional love and acceptance doesn't mean all behaviors are fine and how you treat me is fine. What it means is you, as you are welcome, seen, and loved. And we can offer that to people. They choose whether to take it.
Thing is I didn't hear that guy coming.
So she shot somebody to save him.
He shouldn't have had
And
to.
he blames himself that she had to do it because he blames himself for everything. It's kind of
You're
Joel's
glad
thing.
I did, right?
It's kind of, it's like his whole deal.
You're just a kid. You should know what it means to. It's not like you killed him, but shooting. I know what it's like. First time that you hurt someone like that. If you I'm not good at this.
Yeah, you're really not.
And it was my fault. You shouldn't have had to. And I'm sorry.
He's doing the best he can as an emotionally constipated Texan.
It wasn't my first time.
They've been through enough together now.
Yeah.
This is about a week into their journey, but they've been through enough. Obviously, they just had a fight to the death together, and they're finally, both of them, starting to open up. He's opening up and being vulnerable and saying, I should have been able to take care of that. It's my fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And she's opening up to tell the worst thing that's ever happened to her. She doesn't tell him the whole thing yet.
No, not yet. Well, and right after this, he gives her the gun back.
Yeah, he's starting to trust her, right?
Because she keeps asking for a gun. He's like, nope,
Nope.
nope, nope.
And it's hilarious the whole time. Again, this show does not get enough credit for how funny it is.
Can I have a gun?
Absolutely not.
Okay, Jesus, fine. I'll have to throw a sandwich at them.
So here's the real world corollary. These characters have had to do awful things to survive
Yeah.
and to protect the people they care about. That's the world that they live in. At their core is the innocent, decent person that used to be there. And I guess my point is still there.
Yeah.
But they feel like they've lost it. And the real world corollary is, in the case of avoidant attachment, sometimes it comes from abuse. It comes from neglect. It comes from the people that I relied on to survive or for connection. I did horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how I can live with myself.
Joel, I'm
Those
gonna.
things I did, Tommy, those things that you judge me for. I did those things to keep us alive.
We did those things. They weren't things. We murdered people.
But the other layer of not connecting isn't just the fear of loss and all these things. It's, I don't think I'm worthy for someone to love me.
Right.
I don't think I'm worthy for someone to see me as a protector or as a friend.
You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad.
One of the greatest lessons you can learn is no matter what you've done, when we talk about, okay, forgive yourself. Okay, done. Thanks for that advice. You know, like it's,
Did it.
but what that looks like is, okay, there is a difference between guilt and regret.
Yes.
And I've said any number of times on the show, guilt serves a purpose, and that is to motivate us to change behavior. At which point the guilt gets left behind because it did what it was there to do.
Yeah.
Regret is the dull ache that replaces the sharp pain. Regret is what's there to keep us from going backwards to what we were doing before.
Yep.
And these characters, if I was doing family therapy with them, I would help them to move from guilt to regret. Okay, what things have you done that you feel awful about? Did you have to do them? And in every case, the answer is yes. It was that or die, or that or somebody I love die. Okay. I mean, you could have chosen not to do them, but it's an awful situation to be put in the first place. Can you do things differently now? If so, let it go. Be the person you want to be as best you can in this, fungi-covered hellscape of death.
Dibs on that rock band name.
Yeah, right? That's great, bro. That's so metal.
Fungi-covered hellscape of death.
And live with the regret of what you've done and move forward and do as much good as you can.
So, an awful lot has happened.
Dude, this scene, you're expecting him to save her, and then he doesn't get there in time. She has to save herself.
And well, she does,
But, oh boy.
but kind of loses herself at the same time. It is rough.
Look, it's me. It's me. It's okay.
But
It's okay. It's okay, baby girl. I got you.
He calls her baby girl, which is what he called his daughter.
I got you.
He hasn't connected like that in 20 years.
One of the sad truths about life is you can't always save someone physically from whatever they're going through. You can't spare them the ordeal, but you can help save them emotionally. That is the beauty of providing love and safety. And the great thing about that is no matter what someone has been through, you can meet them right where they are and start. And sometimes that love and safety you provide is not going to land for a good long while.
Yeah.
you know, because there's a legitimate trauma response there. But Joel sees in Ellie an opportunity. At first, he was afraid of it.
We've heard this a million times. Vaccines, miracle cures. None of it works. Ever.
You, man, I didn't ask for this.
You and me both. This isn't gonna end well, Tess. We need to go back.
Kind of like a do-over.
Yeah.
You know, he couldn't save his daughter, which is the very reason why for so long he's avoiding getting attached to Ellie. And he's avoiding the task, and he doesn't want to save her or help her because, again, he doesn't want to go through that level of anguish again. And he's seen so many people, including children, die.
He, without a thought, picks up a dead kid and throws him in a fire. Completely blasé about it.
Yeah. Well, and he has to be. He has to go numb because otherwise it's too horrifying to function. And so with Ellie, he's been avoiding this because he thinks odds are she's going to die. But what I love is when he stops seeing it as something to avoid and instead sees it as something to lean into, to face. This is an opportunity.
You deserve a choice. I still think you'd be better off with Tommy.
Let's go.
Okay.
And in his mind, it's an opportunity for redemption, I think. As the audience, we know there's nothing he needs to be redeemed of, at least when it comes to this.
Yeah, right.
But it's an opportunity to get a do-over.
Yes.
And that's something I think we've all experienced. I've certainly had that in the therapy office where I maybe had a couple in front of me and it went poorly and I was less experienced or I wasn't prepared for whatever the scenario was.
But years on, you get another couple with a very similar problem and you're like, ha-ha,
And
I know the answer now.
or family or parents
Yeah.
and kids or whatever it is. And I get a chance to do it again. And the regret, of course, of the last time, I wish that I had done it differently.
Yes.
But now I get this opportunity.
Right.
Because that's how human beings learn.
Yes.
The unfortunate truth is you're going to do things wrong. And sometimes because of circumstances you choose or circumstances outside of your control, the stakes are incredibly high. And you do the best you can and it doesn't work. And if you tie your worth to the outcome of success, you will feel like a failure. And you might even hate yourself like Joel does. And he perpetually blames himself for everything.
You know, she saved my life there. From another kid. 5 years ago, I would have destroyed him. But she had to shoot him to save me. 14 years old. Because I was too slow and too deaf to hear him coming.
But what happens when you say, I can't control outcomes? I can hope for outcomes, I can work for outcomes, I can prepare for outcomes, but at the end of the day, all I can do is the best I can do. Now you're in a place to actually get your hands dirty and do some good. Because, you know, I don't know where the story's going. I haven't watched the game. I don't know what happens in season 2 because I haven't watched it yet.
He has no idea.
But let's say hypothetically that he can't save her. It's still worth it. Because he re-engaged with life and he connected and he allowed himself to feel love again.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's all right. Can you hurry up?
So here's a weird poll. Matrix Revolutions, right?
Uh-huh.
When they soar up into the sky above the clouds and they see
Oh,
how
and they
beautiful
see-
it is
yeah.
above everything, like you have this moment of respite. You know, just to re-experience the wonder of something just beautiful.
Yep. Just to make it more real.
And look at how he looks at her. That is how I look at my daughters when they're enjoying something. I just in awe that they exist. And seeing them happy.
So
It's something you don't get until you're a parent or like a mentor, or like someone younger than you, and you really come to care about them.
And you care about them, and you care about them caring about a thing you care about.
Yeah.
It's such a magical experience, and they capture it so well. This is a scene straight out of the video game, by the way.
Yeah.
It is like shot for shot almost.
I would also say if you care about them enough, it doesn't have to be something you care about. Like their
True.
enjoyment of it is enough.
Absolutely true.
Pretty incredible production value because, you know, that's CG.
Yeah.
And it looks really good.
No, the VFX houses on this show did incredible work.
So, is it everything you hoped for?
it's got its ups and downs. But you can't deny that view.
Call back to a previous conversation. But that was a much darker day.
It was.
At least at this point. Because this day, as, you know, is par for the course on the show, is about to turn super dark.
Yeah. Well, and it's listen, this is it's a storytelling trope for a reason. You finally get your characters to a place where they're connecting with each other and loving each other. They're getting close to the end of their journey. They have a beautiful moment where you can sort of recontextualize and have just a lovely moment of like, hey, we love each other and we're about to get to the end of this and this is great. And then, you know, all hell breaks loose, which we'll get to in a minute.
And if you're not a patron yet, we've got a Patreon exclusive episode on The Last of Us, the psychology of navigating crises.
It'll
That
be
you're-
coming in a few weeks to
Yeah.
maybe a month-ish. About how he got the scar on his head.
Anyway, the reason I'm telling you all this
I
is...
know why you're telling me all this.
Yeah, I reckon you do.
You're not much for sentimental living.
So time heals all wounds, I guess.
It wasn't time that did it.
This is the best way that this man knows how to say, I love you. I love you, new daughter, right?
And what I love
I'm
about...
glad that didn't work out.
I'm glad that didn't work out.
And that's her way of saying
You too.
She has to make it kind of a joke.
I don't know. I'd push back. I don't think she's joking. I think it's just how she's saying it.
Yeah.
She's not making it as a joke, but
Yeah.
what she's saying is funny.
Yeah, that's
Glad
true.
that didn't work out because she just deals with life through sarcasm and being kind of a dick.
You dick.
It is scary to attach. Vulnerability is scary. The reason it's called being vulnerable is because there's risk involved.
Yeah.
Risk of getting hurt, risk of losing. There's also high reward. There's the high reward of I feel purposeful now. And I feel happy now. And I feel more like myself because we don't talk about as much. We talk a lot about being loved, but there's also a lot of joy in loving.
Giving love.
In
Yeah.
giving love. That he needs, and now I'm going to get emotional thinking about this, that he needs to be a father. That part of him has been missing since Sarah died. And when he says, I didn't see the point in going on, because that's who he was. I was a father. And now he gets it back. And it's everything to him, you know, and it's not just the role of father. It's not the specific roles. It's the act of loving someone is what gives our lives meaning.
Yeah.
Her name was Riley. And she was the first to die. And then it was Tess. And then Sam.
That's not on you.
I know it.
Look, sometimes things don't work out the way we hope. You can feel like you've come to an end. And you don't know what to do next. But if you just keep going, you find something new to fight for.
He's talking about himself too.
Swear to me. Swear to me that everything you said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
So, context, he killed a bunch of people to save her while she was unconscious. But she doesn't know that. She suspects it.
She knows that he lied.
Yeah.
You can see in
Okay.
her eyes. You can see in her eyes, she knows he lied, but she still says okay. The brilliance of this show, and you know, the game that it's based on, is what if love is bad? The full context is she is the first person probably ever who is immune to the fungal infection.
Yeah.
And they take her to this base in Salt Lake City where there are some doctors who can synthesize a vaccine, basically. Like they can save all of humanity, but in order to get at it, they have to
Kill her.
because it lives in the brain. Once he finds that out, he says, nope, kills all of them cold-bloodedly.
Yeah.
The worst is playing it in the game, by the way, because you have to go do that.
You have to go kill innocent people to save
and
her.
it's just, what an interesting thought experiment. Like, what if this beautiful love that we are so rooting for between these two broken, damaged people who desperately need each other is the thing that causes the world to end and stay ended?
I don't think that love is bad, but I think if you go back to what Bill said, I didn't care when everybody died. I was happy, but I found one person who was worth saving. That mentality, I would say, is not supportive. Because if you only care about the people that you're connected with and care about, then you are capable of doing atrocious things to protect them or for them or whatever. Developing a love that goes beyond that, that goes just for your fellow human being. That is I think you love more the people you're connected with and you know for sure.
Yeah.
But if you have that for everybody else, that's how you keep the balance. I do think these characters are closer to secure attachment now.
Okay, yeah.
At least with each other.
Right until that very last shot.
Well, right until the very last shot, because now trust is being undermined, but they still want the connection.
Right.
And then there's also the simple fact they're both traumatized. Yeah. And secure attachment helps heal trauma, but in and of itself, it doesn't just heal trauma. Right? Connection is a large and essential part of healing, but they've both got work to do. And I, for one, am excited to watch season 2 and see where this goes and to cover it on our channel.
It's going to go great.
You can tell everything on this show.
Everything on this show ends up shiny happy.
It's like a Ghibli movie. Everything just feels good and goes right.
Delightful.
So until next time.
Okay, 80s means trouble. Code broken.
Save who you can save.
And watch TV shows.
Yeah, The Last of Us.
Watch The Last of Us.
Hot damn, what a show.
Play it too. It's a very good game.
Ooh. We want to thank our patrons for supporting the channel and getting a bunch of bonus content. I also want to add that our Patreon is now 99% free of fungal infection. Folks like
Jacob Burns,
Bird Nerd.
It's
literally 3 A's.
It's triple A.
Yeah. Teresa McQueen.
And Nessa Oaks.
You're great.